Okay, we're on.
Are we?
Yes.
Are we?
Yes.
Okay then. Hello. Son of a bitch.
What's wrong?
The volume is on. Despite the fact that I just turned it down. What a pain.
We are right on time today.
Are we?
No. No, we are not.
How late are we?
Like it's 3 minutes ago. We're fine.
Had a long day, did you? Bedong. That is perfectly fair.
That. People do suck, but at least you get tomorrow off.
Let's see.
So what's going on in the land of sculpture today?
It's definitely still Art the Clown.
In his tiny hat.
In his tiny hat. Don't make fun of Art's tiny hat.
I didn't make fun. Okay, I really like the angle you've got on that other camera with Art. Just glaring into the camera.
Just maniacally looking up Art's nose.
Yeah. That's great.
It could be ruffleneck thing time. That's as good a thing to work on as anything, I suppose. Make my reference happen. Yeah, I had a busy day of throwing pottery so far, and I was working on vampire burns briefly. Decided I could not live with the mouth where it was. Let's find some good neck ruffles.
What were you throwing?
I was throwing stuff for you.
No, okay, that's not a me question. It's a Payne question.
I was throwing stuff for my wife. I was throwing tiny little bowls and paintbrush cups. So many things.
My own stuff.
Yes, we will see.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm reasonably pleased with how this is progressing.
Did you sell paint on new mitts?
I did.
Super excited.
actually chatting a tiny bit while you were being medicated.
Oh, okay.
Getting your shots.
Oh.
Your very extended shots.
Shots.
What? What are we whatting what now?
Oh. Is the sound not good?
No, it should be.
Tell us a story.
I want to tell you.
Let me know how the sound is, Jen.
I want to tell you a story. You tell us a story.
No. It's not how this works.
How everything works.
It's not how this works.
No, we're not doing that story. No, we're not doing that.
Not doing what?
We're not doing that.
Children's stories?
No, we're not.
I mean, that's fair.
No, I don't think we've messed with the audio since the last time. So hopefully it's still good. Let's see. I think we're going to keep Art's ruffles somewhat contained. I don't know why I keep doing things with ruffles. Ruffles are an absolute pain when it comes to molding time. Yeah, maybe. Peter Cushing's Shrunken Head had some ruffles. I did some on the Pennywise slash Killer Clowns combo. That one hasn't been cast yet, but I've done the most of the prepping it for casting, which is actually the part that takes forever, because you end up having to figure out where your mold lines are going to be and then resculpt half your ruffles.
Thanks, Bulk.
What's Bulk doing?
Bulk said it sounds good here.
Bulk McRun.
Let me know if that music is too loud.
Let's see, what else did I do? I did do ruffles on the Charred Hag, which also hasn't been molded, but she's about ready to go. Just need to find time to do all this molding and casting and all the things. I did start casting up Cyclopes. What's up, potato?
I'm definitely not going to try and pick her up to put her on camera.
No, she doesn't want to be picked
She
up.
would not have it.
Potato?
Potato.
Potato doesn't find anything too hard. Yep, I am still planning on molding it. I just... Mr. Burns Dracula is my kind of, like... the piece that I pick up and tinker with when I have a spare short period of time.
Hi, potatoes. Yeah?
What are you being loud about, Potato?
What do you want?
Do you want attention now?
Yeah? Baby's crying.
He really is. Yeah, and I will definitely be molding that one. Oh, Potato. Hairness. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't think I could get away with not molding Mr. Burns Dracula.
No. Absolutely not.
I keep getting harassed about Mr. Burns Dracula.
He's great.
And it's like, you know, I've only been working on it since last October.
Thanks, Bulk.
Okay, Potato.
How's it sound on Potato?
What
Can you hear her okay?
is it that you need so badly?
She just needs love. All she wants.
Why? Why now? You hardly ever come to the basement to bother me. Here. Potato.
She's come through loud and clear.
Come here. We'll pet you. Nope, you're just gonna rub on all the things. Okay. Alright, just be that way then. Thick ass lump of a cat anyway. Now, I'm pretty sure this was good, but double check my height again. Make sure Art's not too tall. Nope, we've got space for days. I do wish I had better advice for like cloth folds and wrinkles. I really don't.
What do you mean?
Well, you just kind of like try and pick out a few that are visually important, because you're not going to be able to mold them all like full depth.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky this one, I think it's going to have a nice clean Thinking we had to cut it to just a clean border instead of trying to do the undersides. But yeah, you just kind of have to, like, you pick a few and you try and find like a general character for the wrinkles, like whether they're really, you know, tight, scrunched, hard wrinkles, or whether they're kind of loose, flouncy ones. Like Art's got kind of a medium scrunchy density wrinkle.
Okay. Medium scrunchy density.
And they're definitely like a soft crinkle. Does that make sense? Instead of like that real tight accordion fold type thing you see sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, you gotta kind of like set the character of the wrinkles up and hopefully pick out a couple that you can put so I don't know if I've explained this in any of the other ones, but so let's say I was gonna mold Art and I figured out that the mold line was gonna run along the jawline to about there and then kind of run through here. So that would mean that this area, anything along that mold line, is going to be pulling across when the mold piece comes off, and as opposed to pulling straight out. So the areas that are most in between your mold lines, so assume a mold line along that angle. So these areas right on the mold line are going to be the most sideways to the direction of the pull of the actual plaster piece. So you kind of have to keep the wrinkles shallow in that area, and in here, in this area that's in most in between, you have where the mold is going to pull directly away from it. So you can get away with a fair amount of depth in something like a wrinkle in this section without having to worry about like budging with it. Like if I want depth, if I want a parent depth over here, what I end up having to do is make it so that, like, if this is going to be the kind of high point, so I've got a little bit of poof moving this way, and then it kind of has a high point here. I can't come in and have it sneak behind this other wrinkle. It won't work because it'll bind on the, well, that doesn't show it that way. I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit because this would still have problems, but this would be an absolute no-go. So you can see where this has an area behind it. So the mold piece would come in here and hook, and it would end up peeling that right away. So what I end up having to do in these areas is make sure that it's at bare minimum straightforward, or even better yet, kind of a little bit past straight. So if I want a hard turn on a wrinkle or something like that, the best way to do it is by coming in here and then taking a very sharp turn. It looks almost like an undercut, but it isn't. It has the same kind of visual impact as a hard undercut would have. But mostly what I end up doing is I end up trying to leave these wrinkles a little shallower in that area, and then the areas that are in between get the deeper wrinkles. So I'll put a couple of nice crispy deep creases in here to kind of sell it. I say I'm going to put those in there, except with Art's chin, I may end up running a seam line end up running seam lines not in my usual go-to. I try and get the whole front of the face, so I'd probably, my first inclination would be to run a seam line along here and here and then down, but the chin may preclude that, so I may end up having to run a seam somewhere down the middle of Art's face to deal with his nose and chin. Which is not my reference, but it's not the problem that I think a lot of people imagine it would be, like running a seam down like an important area, like the middle of a character's face. Seems like it would just be a no-go, but I find I can clean up my seams. Yeah. I find I can clean up my seams well enough that they really don't show very much. Just notice this area. I'm gonna I might just thicken up under Art's chin a little. Oh, that's not gonna help with the nose. Nope, that nose is definitely not going to allow for a single piece that comes straight off the face. It's gonna have to divide along his nose and chin, which is
Seems fitting somehow. That his nose is gonna be a pain in the butt.
I mean, it'll be okay. I did a lot of my earlier molds with a line right down the center. The first mold that I made for this kind of thing, I made it as a 2-piece mold, and I ran the seam right along both sides of the head where you would think it would go, and it worked. But it was a fairly simple character.
Is that the goon?
Nope, it was the Mini Frank. Mini Frank was a 2-part mold. Durham was the second one I ever did. But yeah, I figured I genuinely did not know what I was going to be able to get away with for molding. So I just assumed the mold was going to fail and ran it.
Pleasantly surprised when it didn't.
Well, I mean, I knew enough about mold making to not have any like major undercuts, but when you've got like surface texture, like those little tiny surface wrinkles, they are technically undercut, but they're shallow enough that the shrinkage handles it. But I didn't know how much the shrinkage was going to do for me, so I figured it would tie up in those little spots. But I also figured if I didn't stress test it on some early molds, like if I had tried to build like a mold that I was pretty sure would work, it would have had like 6 or 8 parts. And that's
how many is the most you've had so far?
I've done a 5-part mold.
Okay.
Well, for these,
5-part mold?
I have done 1 5-part mold for these.
Which one's that?
The foot, the hag's foot has an extra portion.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I try and keep my molds to 4 parts. I think anything that I can't mold in a 4-part mold, I really need a good reason. Like the foot, it was the top of the foot. The top of the foot and the bottom of the foot kind of made it impossible to mold as only 4 parts.
Right.
But if I was going to do something like, well, if Art had that round like ball nose like Pennywise, not the Bill Skarsgård, the original Pennywise, the Tim Curry, the OG Pennywise. It'd be theoretically possible to run enough parts on that mold maybe to make it come out. But it would have like all those undercuts would make it much more likely that that would get broken on the mugs.
Right.
So when it comes to like Pennywise's nose, that's a pretty vital thing to the likeness.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I may end up, when I cast that one, I may cast it as a separate part and stick it on.
Somehow the idea of casting a separate clown nose to put on amuses me. I know that's not really how it's gonna work.
I mean, it is kind of how it's gonna work.
Yeah, but it's not like you're gonna sculpt an actual nose.
So funny thing about that.
Yes.
I was looking at, I forget his name. He is another ceramic artist on Instagram, and he does the weird. He calls them weirdo mugs. He also did all the Daruma ones. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe
they're a little bit more cartoonish slash.
Okay,
his weirdo mug is kind of got a rat finky aesthetic.
Okay.
But he has this big. Instead of having a handle, he wanted to have a handle. He has this really big hooked over nose that serves as the handle, which he cast as a separate part. But instead of doing what I've always done, which is I would build a flat spot on my nose, and then I would build a corresponding like landing zone.
Yeah.
So that they kind of meet. He didn't do that. He carried the texture and everything. So it's just like the mug just basically hasn't got a nose. It just has kind of a, not quite flat, but just an area in the front that's sort of plain. And that would solve so many problems.
Okay.
Because if you don't build that landing area just exactly perfectly right, or if something,
a little more leeway.
You don't have to touch up quite as much, and it really isn't like, was
it one of those why did I think of that moments?
Yes, it was one of those why didn't I think of that moments, because like on my stitched up mug and on like this guy, I built a nice like platform into the hair. Now I still would have had to kind of do that, but I had to build some extra like wiggle room around it because these handles don't come out exactly perfect. Like a little bent coming out of the mold. So I think I'm going to do that from now on. So I may actually end up doing a Pennywise with a bit of a nose, and then a clown nose to go over that nose, which I'll just kind of chop off flat when I put the clown nose on. Either that, or I'll do like a gross missing nose. Like a skull nose. I may do that. I may go that direction. Yeah. But if I can at all avoid it, I try not to have multiple bits. You know, I suppose if you really want to get technical, this mug or my stitched up mug has the most parts, because there's 2 parts for the handle mold and then the 4 parts for the other mold.
Okay. I think I would count that.
You would count that? So those are 6-part molds instead of 5-part.
Oh. I would count that.
They're 2 separate.
Yeah.
Like they don't interact with each other at all.
It's a 4-part mold and a 2-part.
Yeah, it's a 4-part and a 2-part.
Okay, maybe not. I don't know.
For
Now we're getting ridiculous.
yeah, for technicality's sake, maybe count it, but in terms of actual like mold making. But yeah, I have built a more complex mold than that.
Mm-hmm.
I built a fully round baby doll head style mold for potentially casting in paper mache, and that took yeah you can cast paper mache in plaster. You don't cast it in the same way. You basically pack all the parts with it open and then smush them together. Or at least that's how I did it. I only ended up casting like 1 or 2 in paper mache.
Mm-hmm.
I cast more of them in latex, but that was actually a 7-part mold.
You know, with paper mache, with your paper mache smush mold,
Uh-huh.
did you need to be as worried about intercuts as you are with the ceramic?
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't shrink as much, so it's actually slightly worse.
Mm.
But it also maintains, if you get it out at the right time, it maintains a tiny bit of flex.
Mm.
So it giveth and it taketh away. But yeah, it's mold making is not complex. Like, it shouldn't be scary for anybody, but it's a little exacting. The rules are simple, but you do have to follow them, or bad things will happen.
The rules are there for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, it does art not have... It doesn't, does it? There's no wrinkles up here.
What?
There's no poof that goes in this direction.
Do you need other others?
I have reference. I just need to look at it better.
Okay. You need to pay attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's his like cowl thing comes straight down and then leads into the poof. So this is incorrect. And I will fix it.
Are you adding extra poof that you
I
need?
added extra poof that I didn't need to. I don't need that poof. That's fake poof. I don't need that poof. Nope, it just gets kind of blousy here. But it runs the other way. Get rid of this errant poof.
Don't want an errant poof.
Oh, we don't want that. Nope, do not want any errant poofage. Only accurately placed poofage. Loud. suppose it wouldn't matter if I had inaccurate poofage. Might be fun to have inaccurate poofage.
I think
Yeah.
before I wreck one of these with the dragon scale, I might want to practice somewhere.
I sort of figured.
Maybe I'll small.
I thought you'd puss out.
They're so nice.
They're also probably not quite the right dryness.
They're still a little moister than I would normally do this at, but it's fine.
Well, if you want, I will throw you some like real small. Although, are real small things gonna interact with the poof or the scaling tool?
I might need to use the small one.
Let's use the small end.
I don't know.
You know, I can also cut you another one of those, like any scale you want. Like I literally have banding steel and the tools to do this. So.
Are you mad that I cheated on you with metal from Temu?
No. No, I'm not mad that you cheated on me with metal from Temu. I wouldn't have thought that you would want one of those tools.
Why?
I don't know, because
Why would you think that?
because I know how to make scales different ways that make cooler scales, I think.
Make my own scale. Blackjack, hookers.
I do make my own scales with blackjack and hookers. Those scales always drive me nuts. Because they're so regular. I know.
Have you met me? I like regular.
I have met you, but I don't mind you doing that gesture again. What?
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 I like my anal attention to details.
She says as she puts a spirit level on top of her
Okay.
wood. I know it's just being a straight edge, but
Yes. It's because I like the spacing. Not because I want it to be level.
which is good because the table isn't.
Whose fault is that?
I don't know. Could be the floor. It could be the floor or the table. I genuinely don't know.
Okay.
It's near enough to level that it doesn't matter most of the time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you feel free to just jiggle away. It's fine by me. Oh, I have to mold so much stuff. I think the next thing I have to mold is probably the new pumpkin. The new pumpkin guy for your candles, because you're like out of pumpkin candles. Does that seem correct?
It does seem correct.
I was hoping it wouldn't seem correct. But
Well, I mean, I do have a bit of a store.
what's a bit of a store?
How many did I misappropriate on you?
I don't know. I don't remember. 4 or 5,
And then I found a couple.
and then you found a couple.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't need to do that. Now.
Yeah, so no rush.
See, I don't trust you when you say no rush.
That's fair.
Because you're gonna say no rush, and then when it is a rush, it's gonna be an unreasonable rush. Yeah. Yeah, so where are we on those pumpkin guys? I kind of need them for like this weekend. That doesn't seem like something you do at all. We're not going to do last minute kiln firings.
No,
That's
never.
that's not a thing that we do
Never.
here. We're prepared.
Always on time.
While I'm doing this bit, I could probably add that little wrinkle on top of Bart's head that Aim was so very insistent about.
What?
There's
A seam?
it's not a seam, it's a in the one shot.
I changed the reference.
I know.
That one.
Well, yeah, in the reference that's actually on screen, he's got like a little bit at the tippy top that kind of blouses up.
Okay, I see it.
Just kind of good for the character of it being cloth, you know. Yeah. So it occurs to me as well. We have a like half full crock pot at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to run a little short on room on my shelf.
Oh.
Might be time to recycle somebody.
I mean, you could recycle my halfway done.
Do you want me to recycle your halfway done thing?
Maybe. I don't know if I feel I went too detailed with it.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
So I do.
Yep. It does have. He has the reservoir tip in the hat. No, I don't mind. Actually, I kind of like the detail of showing that it's like a cloth sock thing. It's not just Art's got weird like baggy skin or something. But yes, we could definitely we can sacrifice that if you don't want it, but also where's the fun in that?
I know.
It's most fun if you
Like, do
destroy
you wanna
something
go
beautiful.
something older? I mean, there's the pumpkin candle. Once you mold that.
Well, yes, once I mold that.
Are you out of monster clay?
No, that's not. That's not the point. Sometimes it's fun to destroy something beautiful.
Okay. Just don't destroy that turtle.
I'll destroy what I want when I want, how I want to.
I thought I had a vote.
Not with my monster clay, you don't. I'll wreck up what I want to wreck up.
Okay.
In fact, it might even make it better if it's something that you that you're attached to. No, don't wreck it. No.
It dropped. Fingers, how do they work?
No, I don't. I have, I think, 2 full cases of not cases. I have 2 full measures of monster clay. 2 full 4.5 pound blocks. But I have a shelf that stores my my sculptures while I'm working on, and it is currently more full than it needs to be, and my pot of monster clay could accommodate something. If you want to bring some to play with, you feel free. But no, I am stocked with monster clay. And I have several sculptures that I do not have a need for.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, you could theoretically work on that.
What, work on being faster?
Yeah.
But what if it's just not part of her process?
I mean, that's fine. It doesn't have to be part of her process.
Like you trying to get me to like just fucking doodle stuff.
Okay.
Like, no.
There's a reason for that. And you know damn well what it is.
No.
Your hands are still screwed up from the winter time?
Really? Wow.
Well, she keeps dousing them in alcohol.
Well, you know, but it's July. July now.
Oh, the lime thing. Is that still bugging the hands? That's a fun little passage from the side. It gives a nice sort of bumpage to the head. So you've already been on for a week or 2, and they're going to extend them out even further. At least you'd be one of the people who really wouldn't notice if the strange red meat allergy kicked in.
I don't know. I can't eat red meat. Probably wouldn't even notice.
No, probably wouldn't.
Does it do anything else? Or is it just red meat?
I don't. I do not know. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't say I know that it does that either.
What do you mean?
Um,
I thought that was pretty well established.
I don't know. I haven't looked into the documentation at all.
Spot right in the middle of my back that does not want to be dealing with this right now. On the upside.
You're almost done.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now you just have to put your handles on.
That may wait. And it's fine because I think I'm actually going to carve some. I haven't decided.
And all this is fine.
Yeah, also.
And it's fine because you said it's fine.
Yeah.
I believe is the.
I do whatever case. I'm like a wizard. Always arrive exactly when I intend to.
If you say so. Yeah.
What's another state?
The
Those particular ticks?
the particular ticks.
Oh. Alpha gal.
Yeah, where you are is pretty heavily populated with just the deer, the small deer ticks. The small deer tick.
Guess I can do my sun newsletter.
Yeah, Lyme disease is one of those things that was so frequently in the news that they're still kind of dealing with revamping what seems likely and what doesn't. I know they recently changed the guidance maybe 4 or 5 years ago from if you find a tick that's in any way attached, you need I mean, tick populations are kind of weird and spotty, but it almost for sure, because of where you are, it would have been one of the deer ticks, because there are overrepresented population wise in that immediate area. But yeah, with the whole Lyme disease thing, they had thought that they wanted he's lost his hat briefly. We'll come back.
Oh no.
He needs some wrinkles. He needs wrinkles.
Okay, I'm gonna send this in. Screw it.
He's still definitely cruising right along. But yeah, hopefully you will feel better soon. Hand problems are no fun.
They are not.
Nope, I think for myself, I would almost rather have just about anything else short of, blindness. Blindness would be annoying too. Would you hold still? I really like this turntable, but it's the tiniest bit too smooth. Some wrinkles in here at the base of the skull. giving some thought now to how this is going to look in clay. I think I may want to really punch up some more of these wrinkles. Art's hood thing. So one of the things I've found with clay, like the porcelain stuff, anything that's like even minimally too smooth starts to read very hard and like maybe not mechanical, but because we know clay is hard and brittle. Yep, I am only using the porcelain from PSH. It doesn't really make sense to bounce around with the clay body. It makes recycling more challenging and all that sort of thing. Plus, I really like the look of it. It does. I've been pretty pleased with the clays in general from PSH. They have a much more limited selection of glazes than the other. Like, we have got so much stuff right here. Like, there are literally two good I like their I use their underglazes almost extensively, or almost entirely. I do have a fondness for well, they have a nice cobalt. They do have I think they call it French green, which is that nice sort of teal peacock color. The only I have a real fondness for the chartreuse in Amico's underglaze. It is one of the most like handy mixing colors. It makes a beautiful range of skin tones. You mix it with like reds and oranges. PSH does have a bright I believe they call it apple green, which is not bad, but it's a little bit punchier than the chartreuse. I mean, you just like that color green. You got that 90s kid affinity for that color green. Mix it with neon pink and you're even happier. But nope, the chartreuse we ended up accidentally over purchasing on, and I would not be more pleased about that. I think there is a little bit of chartreuse in like 80% of the mugs that I make now. Even the ones that really aren't green at all. I do very much like PSH's black.
Great.
It is. It's nice and black. It's not too thick or too thin. I mean, didn't you already know that?
Apparently, they've decided to turn classic automations into a paid feature.
Ah.
So the welcome email that it's been sending out every time somebody signs up for the thing
doesn't do that anymore.
It archived it because I'm on the free plan.
Ah.
You
Thanks.
suck.
Thanks for the heads up, though.
Right? You can't have it anymore.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be increasingly common over the next little bit. The economy the way it is, any company that has market share is going to start squeezing it for everything they can. I don't think I do have a good reference for really the back of his head, but I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on, and I also am gonna. I think I'm going to punch up the amount of wrinkle in this section where the cloth kind of gets a little bit saggier, because it is like a satiny material, so I am going to want it to be very smooth. And if I let it like if I were to leave it kind of plain, it wouldn't read as cloth anywhere near as well. I can get the porcelain to read as like a cloth type material, but it needs some folds to work. Yeah, I'm gonna have some nice wrinkles and puckers wherever there would be sort of movement or like bagging at the back of the head. It's probably going to look a little bit too much in the sculpt. But I think think I will be more pleased with it. Well, we will see you in a minute then. Yes, I think I'll be more pleased with it. I go a little over the top. On these wrinkles and folds. So what are you going to do about the automation problem?
Don't think there is anything I can do about it. It just means that it won't send a welcome email.
Okay. Just affects people that sign up.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll still get the...
They'll still get the latest.
Like, they'll get whether or not to opt in or confirm their thingy. They just won't get a welcome email.
Okay.
Which is
I mean, we could
lame.
test it.
Yeah, we could.
Make sure that they're still getting because when you sign up, you get the next upcoming email, or no?
No.
No. Okay.
That's the thing. So
That's the
basically, what
welcome
I've been doing is, between the time, like if I send a newsletter, between then and when I actually launch, I change the welcome email to also include that information, just so if anybody signs up after the thing goes out, they still get it.
Okay.
But I mean,
well, just have
not anymore. No.
Have to tell people if they want.
I'm mostly just hoping that I still get notifications when people sign up. Can you imagine if they turn that off too? If you want to know if people sign up for your mailing list, you gotta pay us. My God.
It doesn't sound like something a tech company would do.
No. Not at all.
Nope.
No.
Fill that little divot in. It's gonna be a not insignificant period of time of polishing up this glossy bit of art's head and neck to make it smooth and shiny. I may show a little bit of that for stream, but I may not. I don't know. See how expeditiously I can do it with fire.
Wait, if you're gonna use fire, you have to do that on the stream.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See how expeditiously I can do it with fire, but if it's gonna be more more of a slower process, I may omit that, because that's nobody wants to watch me just rub Art's head for 2 hours.
You sure?
Okay, I'm fairly sure.
Okay.
I mean, we're still out here selling pottery because I'm not built for OnlyFans. Ooh, laundry time. Very fancy. Were you nagging me to do laundry?
Nagging?
Yes.
Nagging?
Yes.
Really? Do you want me to nag? 'Cause I can nag.
No, I couldn't remember if you were nagging me to do laundry or not.
I did mention that I ran out of big socks.
Ah, so you were nagging me to do laundry.
Okay, I wasn't nagging, I just said it. How much you want to bet that's what it mostly is?
What?
Oh, when women are supposedly nagging. Like, we just said things out loud. We made a request, how dare we?
Uh-huh.
Hey, if you're gonna go there, I'm gonna bring it.
She merely suggests loudly, huh?
Yes. That's right, business daddy doesn't nag. Command.
Were you commanding me to do laundry?
Yes.
Ah.
You better do it.
Well, you better command me when my skilled hands aren't busy.
I mean, okay.
So otherwise I will forget all about it.
Hey, you're the one who brought it up. While your skilled hands were busy.
Shane brought it up.
I mean, sort of.
That
Not really.
that just reminded me that I couldn't remember if you were nagging
So
me to
it's
do
Payne's
laundry.
fault.
Yes.
Okay.
No, if you were nagging me to do
laundry. Vicariously nagging?
What? No. Maybe. I don't know. That just reminded me. Because I had, again, completely forgotten.
Yeah, that's right. Nag him for me, Pain.
You do just fine on your own. Besides, teasing my wife is one of the highlights of my day every day. So, you know. Oh. No, we need to figure out what to feed you tomorrow. And or Saturday as well. Yes, you. Well, I think the Japanese restaurant might be the most. Yeah, you get to pick. Yeah, the Japanese restaurant might be the recommendation, but I do want to make sure that we call beforehand. Like on the day when the actual staff is going to be that's going to be in, to see if they can cope with your special needs. I know theoretically they could, but like on any given day. Yeah, we can. I was also thinking, depending on what time you get here, we might do like some kind of a lunch type thing. That's on the simpler side. Like we could go to Pita Pit would be a real good option.
Ruby. Salty cheese, baby.
Oh yeah. You guys had that that was from Pita Pit, yeah? Yeah. So we're gonna have to do that while you're here. Either like Saturday before you leave or Friday before dinner.
Yeah, let's Pita Pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Because that was the it's not deep fried, it's like pan fried. No, griddle seared.
Yes.
But I know Pita Pit in specific has a separate like vegetarian griddle. But yes, the halloumi was tried and it was deemed to be extremely salty. So
it was.
That is one of the falafel places. Pita Pit's the more chain one, but it's like right up the road. cool falafel place, I believe, that you're referencing. No, I think she's talking about You Need a Pita? Which is not that far, but I don't know if they do halloumi.
Mm-hmm. What do I know of?
I mean, they may do now. Everybody's doing it. Like, that stuff is freaking everywhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the place you're referencing is You Need a Pita. Which is also convenient.
Excuse me.
We could also, if you want, for the, simpler lunch option, we could take a peek at the A&W Canada website. They've been having.
Okay, I don't know if they have either.
You don't know if they have a halloumi?
No.
But Canada's A&W has been having his little hat. I do like his little hat. His little hat pleases me. I may make a slightly bigger hat to try.
More accurate?
More accurate, but not fully accurate.
Okay. Still wants to be tiny?
I do think it still wants to be tiny.
That's fair.
Art's hat is, yeah, it's small, but it's not like, it's small, but it's not tiny. And I feel like it wants to be tiny. Even when I made the Freddy Krueger sculpt and I gave it a tiny hat just for fun. Everybody was like, ooh, Art the Clown. Freddy has a regular size hat. I mean, it's on the, it's not like a big ol' hat. But it's a regular, oh yeah, my sculpt had a tiny hat. I like a tiny hat. Yep, we did that at Niagara Falls Comic Con. And I mean, it's not like he saw it or anything, but why can't I think of his name at the moment? You know what?
I do.
Yeah, you can't think of it either. It's Robert Englund. Yes. That's right.
Brain fart.
I'm horrific with names.
Mm.
If I ever used your name, I'd probably forget that occasionally. Forget my name, but I never used it. Nope. It's not like he saw it, but Robert Englund was right there while I was sculpting the Freddy Krueger. Man, he was busy the whole day.
Yes,
Like
the whole weekend.
The whole weekend. Like swamped. One can only conclude that he is beloved.
Yeah. Normal face.
Yeah, it's just his just Robert Englund.
He was cosplaying as Robert Englund.
Yeah, well, he was there, and Warwick Davies was there the same weekend.
Yeah.
And like, well, I suppose Warwick Davies wasn't signing out. Like, he didn't have a table. He was in the.
He was probably in the celebrity.
So they have like a celebrity area, and Robert Englund was not. His signing table was out on the main floor. So I guess I can't really compare like who had.
I don't know about you, but I never went in.
I've never been in the celebrity area. Yeah, I can't say that I've heard anything negative. I was thinking about it the other day. There aren't that many like horror celebrities that I can think of, like, you know, where people were there's a sort of negative connotation. Like, you know, there are some.
What, you can't think of a horror celebrity that's a dickhead?
I can't think of a horror celebrity that people seem to really have a problem with. Yes, the wrestlers had their own kind of little section. But yeah, like, I know Rob Zombie is a director, not an actor. He gets some criticism for putting his wife just in everything, but like, I know some of the old school horror directors were somewhat problematic. I mean, I think it was fine for her character in Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. It's a stylistic choice.
Yes, I have heard about that, about Hitchcock.
Well, yeah, like Hitchcock was hard to work for. Obviously, the guy that directed The Shining, Kubrick, was notoriously demanding. Robert Friedkin was apparently not great when he was directing The Exorcist, but that could have been because that was like one of his first bigger movies. Like, that may have been just a lot to handle for somebody that didn't have a ton of experience. Well, I know both Linda Blair and the woman that played the mom in The Exorcist both got injured during filming. I can't imagine that 19, what was that, like 60s animatronic birds wouldn't have been just as bad, if not worse. Like, can you imagine having 1960s tech animatronic birds thrown at you? I mean, I've handled some equipment from that period. An animatronic bird in the 1960s would probably weigh about 45 pounds. I mean, cast iron. I would much rather have regular sized, regular meat birds thrown at me. I mean, then again, I'm fine with birds. I'm even fine with geese. Everybody else is...
Chickens.
What? I'm great with chickens.
Depends on the chicken.
What chicken do I have any problem
not
with?
you.
You, on the other hand.
Yes.
Still traumatized by the Colonel.
Yeah.
Payne was traumatized by all the chickens. I still think it would have been really funny to steal a pair of your pants and put like stick hot dogs to them and feed the chickens that way, and then return the pants. I mean, all chickens are very soft. We had a bunch of very easy to deal with chickens. The little red ones were good. I had a pair of black and white roosters that were super duper friendly. Yeah, the wee baby Seamus. The original wee baby Seamus. And the Rockstar chickens. And the Colonel was cool. Colonel was the best. Me and that chicken got along great. I had black and white ones with fluffy feet. I had buff colored, like sort of blondish feathered ones with puffy feet, and I had reddish colored ones with puffy feet. Most of the reddish colored ones did not have puffy feet. I don't know. I forget what... I didn't name too many of the chickens.
Corina.
Yeah, was it Karina? Karina the football? Cheryl, Carol, Karina.
Yep.
I had many fluffy chickens, and they are mostly all fun. I mean, they're all fun. Some of them have less personality than others. I am mostly good with most all animals. There are no brown bears anywhere near here. And those and moose are about the only thing that I wouldn't mess with. And hippos.
Those babies are adorable.
I could live without seeing any moose babies.
They're super cute.
Moose babies imply the existence of moose mommies.
Yeah.
And moose mommies have way too much bulk and really poor vision. That's not a combination I'm big on. No, moose are an animal that are in the wild too large to have to be smart enough to be afraid of anything. And therefore they are super unpredictable. We do have 7 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
No. I think I am mostly pleased with the general overall shape of these wrinkles.
Okay, that's good.
You know, that reminds me, I was talking with another artist a couple of shows ago. We're talking about folds and wrinkles and he brought up a thing that he was told by Mikey Severe, who is a mutual online acquaintance friend. And he was talking about shiny wrinkles as a thing to be avoided. And I was meaning to ask Mikey what's up with shiny wrinkles. Because I'm not sure what precisely I was talking about. And I just never remembered to do that. I am not sure. I'm genuinely unsure of what makes a wrinkle shiny. If I had to guess, I would say it's those instances where you get things that are under blended, and they just have like the wrinkles that'll just kind of catch the light wrong, like maybe this guy from the right angle. If I look at these wrinkles here, they could be softened a bit, and they look too harsh where they catch. But that's just my guess.
It ends abruptly.
Yeah, it's a little abrupt, but I'm not sure that that's what shiny wrinkles are. I'm just merely speculating. But yeah, I like my wrinkles to show some. I like wrinkles that show a little bit of body, have a distinct kind of weight to them. And a purpose. I like a wrinkle with purpose. A wrinkle that communicates something. Yeah, gotta soften stuff. Make sure it folds in nicely. Or you get things that look very artificial. But it is important too. You don't want to, when you're softening things like wrinkles in, you got to make sure that you do it. Well, I suppose you don't have to make sure that you do it, but I like to make sure that I do my softening judiciously, where it needs to be softened, and I let them let things have a little bit more of an edge here and there. Because if you just soften everything, like if you just kind of go over and generally kind of polish everything out, that doesn't look any less weird and fake. You gotta have variety, and preferably in the right places. You want to have wrinkles that go a little deeper and a little harsher where they're really compressed, and then feather out where they're relaxed a little bit more. I think that's really one of the keys between a pretty good finished sculpt and one that doesn't work as well, is if you stop thinking about if you stop thinking about what you're doing at a certain level, like you get to the point where you've laid out, you can lay out a really nice shape and everything and have it read nicely, and then you just kind of go through and, oh, I need a texture, and you just sponge it haphazard all over the place. I don't feel like that works out. Looks like it is time. We were a couple of minutes late.
Yep.
So we should we stay after class for a couple of minutes? Make up the time. No, I don't think we need to do that. I think I'm just gonna polish this. I think I may carry on off stream, just brushing these out, because don't nobody need to watch me do that.
Okay. Shall we?
So this will be what you're missing, just this.
A lot of this.
For, a few minutes. Anyway.
Thanks everybody for coming out.
Thanks for coming out. See you soon.
See you tomorrow. Bye.